Hello, Barnes Team fans. We are here today with Barton Young, and we're so excited because we're going to bring some value to you today, and we're going to talk about all things financial planning. So, Bart, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you're with.
Hi. Well, again, my name's Barton Young. I'm with Raymond James Financial Services. I've been an investment advisor for about 25 years now. And during the course of that time, I've helped a lot of clients with building net worth, which is the topic today. We're going to be talking about building net worth and how someone can do that. Also, I want to say right up front that I tell everyone that this is a general discussion on building net worth. And I tell you all to seek the advice of a financial advisor, a CPA, and an attorney when you are doing your planning and building for your future. So those are key points. I won't make any product recommendations. Again, this will just be kind of a guide of how to get started and what it means to build net worth.
Awesome. And for those of you that watch us regularly, we also had Doug Wiley on. He was an accountant. So he came on and talked about, taxes and all things accountant, whatever that means.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So it's nice to have kind of a team of people supporting and working with you jointly. Of course, disclaimer, Barton Young is our personal financial advisor. So I do want to disclose that as well, but, along with Doug. But I think it's important for people to find what works for them. And we're going to talk about some, stuff about building net worth. So let's dive right in.
Okay, let's do it.
So Bart, let me ask you, if someone has never thought about investing or financial planning, where should they really start?
Well, the first place to start is, believe it or not, you can get a lot of very good information just from the good old Google search. There is a lot of information out there on investing and building net worth and how to get started in creating that process for you to build up to the point where someday we all want to retire, right? Nobody, I don't think, wants to work forever. So we're building up towards that retirement when we can sit back at that point in life and have wealth built up so that we can enjoy life and visit the grandkids or whatever your goals are at that point. And so, yes, Google is actually a good place. But then the second place you want to start is you want to call a financial advisor of your choice. You want to sit down with them in a face-to-face meeting and tell them what your goals and plans are and let that financial advisor guide you through the process.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Think about a goal, right? So think about, okay, what is my goal? Do you have a retirement age goal? Is it, I want to have this much money in whatever investment vehicle it is, or maybe it's funding your kids going to college, right? So there's so many different goals. Let's break it down to the basics. One of the points you made was having a budget.
Yes, very important. And look, budgets are fluid. We all understand that.
Right.
So when I say a budget, I'm not advocating like some people I've seen do, where they say make your budget and boy, you better stick to it or life as you know it will end. Well, of course not. Budgets are fluid, but it's very important that as you're doing this goal planning, that you sort of build in budgets for different stages of your life. How much money are you going to need? How much will you have left over to invest? And how much do you want at the end? And you want to look at these goals in terms of structure. So everyone should sit down and think about, what is my 5-year goal, my 10-year goal, my 20-year goal, and my retirement goal? And kind of compartmentalize those goals, because your investment strategy and how you save money is very different through each one of those goal sessions. So that's where a financial advisor will help you kind of pull all that information together and help put your feet on the right path to get to where you want to go.
So I just thought of a question. So let's say, for example, I come to you and I say, okay, Bart, I want to have, say, $1 million in retirement. are you able to help that person walk them through how much they need to save based on when they want to have that money by? Like, are you able to break it down so they understand what it takes to get there?
Yeah,
Just
we
as,
sure can. Yeah, and that's part of the financial planning aspect, and it's part of the guidance aspect of it. And we can take a client says, I want to have $1 million when I retire, and I'm going to retire at age 65, as an example. So then we would work backwards from there, and then we can sit down and tell the client, okay, this is what you're going to need to do to get to that goal. This is how much money you're going to need to set aside in order for you to achieve that goal. And we always tell people with all these goals, we can take these to the nth degree of detail, but the reality is the world changes, life changes, all kinds of things. The one constant in life is change, right? And that's the same with investing. So it's a fluid process. You sit down, you make these goals, you have your plan in place, and then working with your financial advisor, working with your accountant, as life goes on and as months, years go by, you'll fine tune those goals, you'll change those to get to the ultimate goal of whatever it is you want to have.
I think it's so important to have that partner because we don't have to do the heavy lifting, right? We just kind of have our goal in mind, and then we go to our person and say, hey, this is what I want to accomplish. And then whoever the financial advisor is can break it down for that individual and say, this is what you need to do, right? So we don't need to do the heavy lifting, really. We just have to come up with a goal.
Right, that's right. And one of the most important things for everyone to look at and take an evaluation for themselves is, as you're building for retirement specifically, many people have a 401k plan offered at their workplace. And it's very important that you give a lot of consideration, and I highly recommend that if it's possible financially, that people invest in those 401k plans through their employer. Because generally with a 401k, not only are you putting money in on a pre-tax basis, but your employer oftentimes might be contributing. Again, it's up to the employer, but most of the plans I see, the employer contributes to those plans as well. So you're getting additional monies from the employer. So that is a good way to start building up net worth for the future, whether it's retirement or whatever your ultimate goal is. So there are things, again, that when you go to your financial advisor, when you pick a financial advisor to sit down and speak with, those are the things that they'll tell you, the things that are important. Take advantage of employer plans, take advantage of things that can reduce your taxes, but help you also continue to grow net worth. All of those very important subjects. And like you said, Vanessa, that's the key, to sit down with someone and have this explained so that they can get on the right path.
Yeah. And I think when we were talking off camera, I think it was like, people don't know what they don't know, right? Which is why we're here helping people hopefully get some facts and information so they can start their retirement plan. But then it's also, sometimes they don't know where to start either. Like, where do I start? So the Google search is really great, right? Or asking for referrals and references, like, hey, who do you work with, or who do you know? Or especially if they're an employer, going to other employees and saying, hey, what was your experience like? Who should I go to and talk to? Because sometimes it's just, they don't know where to start.
Right. And I found one of the best things, because that's an important point. A lot of people say, okay, I want to talk to a financial advisor and I want to start building a plan. Who should I go to? There's a million financial advisors. Well, one thing I recommend is talk to your own family members. They might already be working with someone or know someone, or speak with your coworkers or your friends, whoever, because odds are somewhere somebody's going to say, yeah, I have a financial advisor. Give this person a call. And that's a good way to start. Ask around, see who people like, and then call that person, make the appointment, and go in and start the process.
Absolutely. What else do you think is important for people to know while we've got you all to ourselves for now?
Well, we've talked about building net worth and retirement a little bit, and it is so important to look at those things as part of your family goal planning. Another thing I want to touch on is insurance. It's very important for you to sit down with a qualified insurance agent and make sure that you have the proper insurance coverage for your family.
Mm,
And insurance agents will show you what your options are. They can help guide you on that, what would be the best insurance for you to have. But I do know I've known a few personal situations where someone passed away suddenly and the
yeah.
family, wasn't even prepared for that. And then the costs involved when someone passes away in today's world are astronomical. I mean, funerals are up to $10,000-15,000 sometimes. How do you handle what money they had? Does it have to go
Yeah.
through probate? Those are all important things. So insurance is a key part to make sure that your family is provided for if something in the worst case scenario happens. So that's another person I would highly suggest people talk to is
Yeah.
find a good insurance agent, talk to them about life insurance or other forms of insurance. We all have car insurance, so maybe you
Yep.
talk to the guy who has your car insurance, or again, a family member or whoever. But that's an important part of the process as well. And I want to touch on one other thing when we're talking about building budgets to reach those retirement goals. And as I said before, budgets are fluid. Life is fluid. The world changes. We didn't know back in January or even, back at Christmas time that this whole situation in the Ukraine was going to unfold, causing issues in the markets and investing. So that's what I mean by things change. We can do all the planning, but within the budgeting and within the planning and with the goal sessions, you also want to make sure that you reserve some money, what I call your fun money.
Mm,
Because let's face it, we all need vacations. It's therapeutic, it's healthy. I don't know a doctor that wouldn't recommend a vacation for all of us.
yep.
But you want to have money for vacations. You want to have money to do fun things for you or your family. So that's an important part of the budget. And don't feel bad about that. I have some clients come to me and say, I'm thinking about buying a car, but should I make the old car last longer, whatever? Well, you sit down with your advisor and say, can I afford this? Should I do this? What do you recommend? But ultimately, you do have to do some nice things for yourself. So
Yeah.
make sure in your budget planning, whoever you go talk to about this, make sure they understand that, yeah, I'm going to need some fun money and I want to enjoy life as well.
I think that's so important because I think oftentimes we're just work, 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 and we need time to rest and reset. And we need to, when we're creating our budget, I think that's really important is set aside, funds every month, just put them into maybe a savings account and have that kind of vacation money, right? Set
Yes.
aside or whatever
Yes.
it is. Maybe it's a spa day for a mom. Or maybe
Yep.
it's a golf day for a dad, and you have to maybe save up for that, but let's put money aside for those times because we do have to take care of ourselves too. That's really
Yes,
important.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it's all part of that budgeting process, a part of the goal planning and the budgeting so that you have these numbers worked out. So you have a goal that you're looking for. Yes, the road to that goal is shifting. Life has changed. But as we keep our eye on that goal at the end, again, a financial advisor, an insurance advisor, a CPA, all important people to have in your universe to help you get there.
Absolutely. Yeah. All those people are part of that building the net worth, right? Because if you build the worth, and your net and your worth begins to grow, you need to have those layers of protection. So the life insurance or the estate planning, which we're going to work on having an attorney talk about that too, which I think is so critical because
Very important.
I've had some situations, unfortunately, with some of my clients that have, passed away or, become ill. And we need to make sure that I feel like part of my job is to make sure that they're protecting their home, their value, their family unit and making sure that they don't run into a situation,
Yeah, that's so important
Yeah,
because in any situation, you want to make sure you have an estate plan or a will or something that people know what to do when you're gone. And as you build your net worth, it's even more important because it becomes a little complicated, and so it's so important to talk to the attorney to get their advice and do what they recommend.
absolutely. Yeah, we're working right now on that because again, I want to kind of make this one complete unit because I feel like it's almost like a public service announcement, like, hey guys, these are options that you have and that you should consider, and then also allowing people to have a platform to be able to say, okay, what are my steps to do that?
Right, right.
Um, so I know this is a big question. What is going on in the market? So I know we're talking about net worth, but I know people probably are thinking in their head, what is really going on the market right now? So maybe just
Yeah.
some time kind
Well,
of talking from your perspective, being in the business for so many 20
sure.
years, what are your kind of thoughts in and around what's going on in the market right now?
Well, everyone watching this will know that all you have to do is turn on CNBC or Bloomberg to see the turmoil in the markets. And one of the things that I think is interesting is some of these financial channels where they have very good people who come on and talk about, answer your question, what's happening. But you have to be careful a little bit not to get caught up in it, because sometimes when the market's way down, they purposely play the spooky music in the background and make it sound like the world is coming to an end. And so I caution people to remember that those channels are also for entertainment. But to answer your question, we have a couple things happening right now in the world that have caused the market so far this year to be very volatile. We've seen a lot of big up days, a lot of big down days, unfortunately, more down days this first quarter. And so we have two issues. We have the inflation issue, which you all know, you watch the news at night. Inflation is high right now. And all you have to do is go to the gas pump to see that. Inflation is high, and the Federal Reserve, who is the authority to help our economy achieve its goals, they're raising interest rates. They have to, because the solution, or one of the solutions to inflation, they say, is to raise rates. And so we're seeing that right now. Interest rates are going up, and the equity markets, the stock markets, don't really like that. They don't like when the Fed raises rates, because that slows down money, which means people buy less goods, which then means that Best Buy doesn't sell as many TVs. And then guess what happens? Best Buy sales go down and their stock goes down. So that's one issue. And the other issue is what's happening in Europe with the war that's going on in Ukraine. And so that was something that just sort of popped up on us. What's happening over there in terms of the market, without getting into the human side of it, which is tragic. But the market side of it is we're seeing disruption of things like oil, natural gas. And those disruptions are happening in Europe right now. But we're a global market, so it affects all of us. You can't just say, well, that's just happening in Europe. No, we're a global market for oil, gas consumption, things like that. And so we've got these two issues going on, and that's why the market has gone down for the year so far, and why it's been very volatile. My observation is I've been doing this 25 years, and there's always, at least so far, there's always been light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't see anything right now to indicate any different. I think as these issues solve themselves, then the market, after consolidating, hopefully will end going back up as it was the last few years. We got derailed terribly with COVID. And a lot of people will remember when COVID first started to make the news, we had a day in the market where it was down what was it, 1,000 and some points in one day.
Mhm.
I don't even want to remember. I try to block it out. But my point is, everyone thought that was the end of the world. But as it turns out, post COVID, the market rallied and set new highs.
Yep.
So, again, everything's fluid. It's always changing. And right now we are in a choppy market, but I do expect eventually we will get out of this, hopefully sooner than later.
Yep. Wonderful. And of course, investing like this, so if you think of the stock market, right, we're in for the long term. This is a
Right, right.
long-term investment vehicle, right?
It is. If you're the kind of person that looks at investing in terms of a month or 3 months or a year, that's not necessarily the best way to approach it.
Mhm.
What we like to do, and we tell people in my business, is think of investing as long term. We
Yep.
don't really care what happens, the first quarter of 2022. What we care what happens is over the next 15 years till your retirement date.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's kind of what we look at. And investing is a thing that needs to be looked at long term, and it's best to invest with a long term goal in mind.
Exactly. Exactly. So I know we've only got about 9 more minutes. There's so much stuff to talk about, but I want to go back real quick. We talked about the employer 401k contribution, which I think is really important. But let's say you're an independent contractor like myself, right? Or we have a lot of business owners out there. Are there investment opportunities for them to create investment plans? Like what does that look
Yes.
like?
Yeah, there actually are there are many opportunities. Which again, when you sit down with a financial advisor, they'll go through them all. But even one person can have a personal 401k if you're a business
Oh,
owner,
mhm.
and it's just you or just you and your husband or whatever. You can have a 401k. A lot of people think it's only for huge companies, but that's not true. There are 401ks that out there in the marketplace for small companies, and small being even down to 1 or 2 employees. There are also things out there called SEP plans, SEP, all kinds of plans. And again, I won't get into detail, but those are things when you sit down with your financial advisor, if you own your own business, you do have a few options available to help you reduce your taxes and to save for the future. So definitely go in and talk to someone about that, because those options are out there.
I
And even if you're not a business owner and perhaps you don't have a 401k at work, and you say, well, what can I do then if that's the situation? Well, you can always do a personal retirement plan, such as an IRA or a Roth IRA.
Mm.
And two different animals, both have different benefits, and both have different features. And again, your financial advisor is the person to consult with on that, and they will recommend what's best in your particular case after they sit down with you. And but there are options out there for everyone, really. Everyone that has income, there's options to do something for retirement. And then there's always the option that you can just start putting money away every month and buying an investment or building your net worth that way. Maybe it's not even a tax deferred option, but remember when we were little, our parents always said, well, you want to save some money, put some money in the bank.
Yeah.
Well, that's even good too. Save some money, anything you can do to start building up for your future. And the
Exactly.
younger you are, the better, because if you're young, time is on your side.
Yep.
If you're starting to invest at age 20, 25, boy, you've got a huge time horizon, and chances are you'll do very well. If you're starting to invest at age 55, your time horizon is much lower. And so those are the things you discuss with your advisor is what do I do? So the age is very important. And I try and tell everyone, start as young as you can,
Yep.
because time really is on your side, and it really helps you for investing.
Absolutely. Like we had someone make a comment, absolutely passive income. And that's what I think Bart alluded to. Find whatever vehicle, and you want to definitely diversify that, you know?
Yes.
So you
Yes.
want to have, and of course, for us being in real estate, we're helping folks buy and sell properties and invest in real estate as a passive income opportunity. So sometimes I'm counseling clients, look, if you can keep your current home and buy an investment property, let's do that. And then create a passive income, stream that way. So I think it's really important, to sit down with your financial advisor, like you said, and look at what strategies work best for you and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole key, is to sit down with someone and make sure that you at least get the advice of this person and hopefully get you going in the right direction. Because there are a lot of things you can do, a lot of opportunities, and I know it's not right for everyone. So that's why your advisor will make a determination as to what's right for you.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, and Bart, any last words before we part?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on. I hope I've been some help for people, and I'll look forward to seeing you around town.
Awesome. I think my biggest takeaway, I think for those listening, especially, if we have any clients or future clients listening, or those that don't know us, my biggest takeaway, I think, is even if you are an independent business owner, one person, they can create a retirement plan. I think
Yes.
that's huge information. And I think maybe a lot of business owners maybe don't know that. And I think that if they can take away one key thing is that, and then they know, oh, I have an opportunity to invest in the market as well, and create a plan.
Right. And a lot of business owners, of course, in the early stages of their business, they're putting 100% of their money back into the business.
Yep.
And we all get that. But at some point, when your business starts generating a profit, that's where it's real important at that point to sit down with someone and figure out what you can do now that you're generating a profit. What can you do to help save for the future and get the maximum tax advantages? And so, again, your advisor, your accountant, they will all be happy to talk to you about that.
Awesome. Thank you, Bart, so much. Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.